In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, countless alien races thrived, forming alliances and building empires. Among them, however, was a species that stood apart, the Zarthax. Known throughout the galaxy as the Weak Ones, they lived on a small, unremarkable planet called Zarthos. The Zarthax were different from other aliens. They looked strange, with soft, squishy bodies that changed colors based on their mood. Their skin was like jelly, and they had no bones. Instead of walking, they glided across the ground, leaving a shiny trail behind them. But it wasn't just their looks that set them apart. The Zarthax were peaceful to their core. They had never known war, never built weapons, and never even raised their voices in anger. Their society was based on cooperation and harmony. They communicated through gentle touches and by changing the patterns on their skin. On their home planet, the Zarthax lived simple lives. They grew colorful plants that they ate and used to make their homes. They spent their days creating beautiful art, studying the stars, and caring for each other. To them, this was paradise. But the rest of the galaxy didn't see it that way. Other alien races looked at the Zarthax and saw only weakness. They laughed at their soft bodies and peaceful ways. How have they survived so long? The other aliens would ask. They're useless in this harsh universe. As time went on, the treatment of the Zarthax got worse. Trading ships stopped coming to their planet. Diplomats from other worlds no longer visited. Even distress calls from Zarthos went unanswered. Slowly but surely, the galaxy was turning its back on them. The Zarthax didn't understand why this was happening. They tried to reach out, sending messages of friendship to other planets. But their calls were ignored or met with cruel laughter. Some alien races even started to spread lies about the Zarthax, calling them galaxy parasites and evolutionary mistakes. Despite this treatment, the Zarthax didn't get angry. They felt sad and confused, but they still believed in peace and kindness. They hoped that one day the other races would see that being different wasn't bad. But life was getting harder on Zarthos. Without trade, they couldn't get important supplies. Their technology started to break down, and they couldn't fix it. Food became scarce as their crops failed without the special fertilizers they used to get from other worlds. The Zarthax leaders gathered to discuss their problems. They changed from soft blues and greens to worried purples as they talked. "We must find a solution," one said, her skin rippling with concern. "Our people are suffering." Another leader suggested reaching out to the galaxy again, but the others shook their heads. "They won't listen," said an elder, his color a deep, sad blue. "We are alone." As they talked, a young Zarthax named Zlob entered the room. Zlob was known for his curious mind and love of old stories. His skin was a bright, excited yellow as he spoke. "There are legends," he said, "of a race called humans. They live far away, in a place the galaxy has forgotten. The stories say they're different, like us." The leaders listened closely as Zlob continued. "Humans are said to be both strong and kind. They fight when they must but prefer peace. Maybe they would understand us. Maybe they would help." At first, the other Zarthax were unsure. The journey to find these humans would be long and dangerous. They had never left their star system before. But as they looked around at their dying world, they realized they had no choice. "We will send a ship," the eldest leader decided, her skin a mix of nervous green and hopeful pink. "We will seek out these humans and ask for their help. It's our only chance." And so, as their planet slowly died around them, the Zarthax began to prepare for a journey into the unknown. They didn't know if they would find the humans or if the humans would help them. But for the first time in years, they felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps somewhere in this vast, uncaring galaxy, they would finally find a friend. The day of departure arrived on Zarthos. The sky was a dull gray, matching the mood of the Zarthax gathered around their single spaceship. It wasn't a fancy vessel, just an old cargo ship they had fixed up as best they could. Zlob, the young Zarthax who had suggested finding the humans, was chosen to lead the mission. With him were 5 other volunteers. They were the bravest of their kind, willing to face the unknown to save their people. As they prepared to board, the rest of the Zarthax pressed close, their bodies changing to a mix of hopeful yellow and worried purple. They touched the travelers gently, wishing them luck in their silent way. The ship's door closed with a hiss. Inside, Zlob and his crew strapped themselves in. None of them had ever flown a spaceship before. They had learned from old manuals and broken simulators. Now, they hoped it would be enough. With a roar and a cloud of smoke, the ship lifted off. It wobbled dangerously for a moment, then steadied. The Zarthax on the ground watched until it was just a tiny dot in the sky. Then, with heavy hearts, they returned to their dying world to wait. In space, Zlob and his crew marveled at the stars around them. But they had no time to enjoy the view. They needed to find the humans, and fast. Their ship only had enough food and fuel for a few months. They followed old star charts and half-remembered legends, searching for any sign of human civilization. Days turned into weeks. The ship creaked and groaned. Sometimes parts would break, and they'd have to stop to fix them. One day, as they passed an asteroid field, a large rock hit their ship. Alarms blared. The Zarthax panicked, their bodies flashing bright red with fear. But Zlob stayed calm. He directed the others, and together they patched the hole in the hull. After a month, their food started to run low. They rationed what was left, but hunger made them weak. Their bodies, usually plump and colorful, became dull and shrunken. Still, they pushed on. Then came the space pirates. A crew of rough-looking aliens in a sleek, dangerous ship appeared out of nowhere. They demanded the Zarthax hand over their vessel. The pirates laughed when they saw the jelly-like aliens, thinking them easy prey. But Zlob had an idea. He invited the pirates aboard to discuss terms. When they entered, the Zarthax surrounded them. Before the pirates could react, the aliens hugged them tightly with their soft bodies. The pirates couldn't reach their weapons or breathe. Soon, they passed out. The Zarthax tied up the pirates and left them in their own ship. Zlob felt bad about using violence, but he knew they had no choice. They took some food and fuel from the pirate ship and continued their journey. As they entered their 3rd month in space, hope began to fade. Their ship was falling apart. They were lost in a sea of stars with no idea where to go next. One night, while everyone else slept, Zlob sat in the cockpit, staring out at space. He felt like he had failed his people. Maybe the humans were just a myth. Maybe they were doomed. Suddenly, a light blinked on the control panel. Zlob leaned closer, his body brightening with curiosity. It was a signal, weak but steady. And it was using a format none of the alien races used. Could it be? Excitement coursing through him, Zlob woke the others. They gathered around the console, bodies pulsing with hopeful colors. Together, they changed course, following the mysterious signal. As they flew, a small blue-green planet came into view. It was beautiful, with swirling white clouds and vast oceans. The signal was coming from there. The Zarthax looked at each other, their bodies a mix of nervous green and excited yellow. Could this be Earth? Had they finally found the humans? With a mix of hope and fear, Zlob guided their battered ship towards the planet. Whatever happened next would decide the fate of their entire species. As they entered the atmosphere, everyone held their breath. Their desperate journey was about to end, but an even bigger adventure was just beginning. The Zarthax ship entered Earth's atmosphere with a fiery glow. Inside, Zlob and his crew held on tight as the vessel shook violently. Their jelly-like bodies quivered with a mix of fear and excitement, changing colors rapidly from nervous green to anticipatory yellow. As they broke through the clouds, they saw a vast landscape below. There were green forests, blue lakes, and in the distance, the twinkling lights of a city. It was more beautiful than anything they had ever seen. Suddenly, alarms blared in the cockpit. Red lights flashed everywhere. "We're losing power," cried one of the crew members, her her body flashing a panicked red. Zlob tried to keep calm, but he knew they were in trouble. The ship was falling too fast. They wouldn't be able to land safely. In a split-second decision, he steered towards a large open field away from the city. With a thunderous crash, the ship plowed into the ground. It skidded across the field, leaving a long trail of dirt and debris. When it finally stopped, everything went silent. Inside the ship, the Zarthax slowly uncurled from their protective balls. They were bruised and shaken, but alive. Zlob did a quick check. "Is everyone okay?" he asked. The others nodded, their colors slowly returning to normal. They peered out of the ship's windows. The field was dark, lit only by the moon and stars. In the distance, they could see lights moving towards them. The humans were coming. "What do we do?" asked one of the crew, her body rippling with uncertainty. Zlob thought for a moment. "We came here for help," he said. "We have to trust them." His skin turned a determined blue as he moved towards the ship's door. As the door hissed open, the Zarthax got their first look at real humans. They were nothing like the Zarthax had imagined. The humans stood on two legs, had hard bodies covered in clothes, and made loud noises with their mouths. The humans had brought big machines with bright lights. Some were in uniforms, holding strange objects in their hands. They looked cautious and a bit scared. Zlob took a deep breath and stepped out of the ship. His body glowed softly in the dark, changing colors to show he meant no harm. The other Zarthax followed, forming a small group at the foot of their battered ship. For a long moment, nobody moved. The humans and Zarthax just stared at each other, both sides unsure what to do. Then, a human stepped forward. She was wearing a different uniform from the others, with more decorations. She looked straight at Zlob and spoke. The Zarthax couldn't understand the words, but her tone seemed calm. Zlob decided to try communicating. He changed his skin to a pattern of friendly colors and reached out one of his tentacle-like arms in greeting. The human woman looked surprised but didn't back away. Slowly, carefully, she extended her own hand. When they touched, Zlob felt a spark of connection. He concentrated hard, trying to share his thoughts and feelings through the contact, as the Zarthax did among themselves. To his amazement, it seemed to work a little. The human woman's eyes widened. She turned to the others and said something that made them lower their weapons. Over the next few hours, more humans arrived. Some brought machines to talk with the Zarthax. It wasn't perfect, but they could understand each other a bit. Zlob explained who they were and why they had come to Earth. The humans listened with growing interest. They asked many questions, some that the Zarthax didn't understand. But overall, they seemed more curious than afraid. As the sun began to rise, casting a warm glow over the field, Zlob felt a sense of hope. The humans hadn't rejected them. They hadn't run away in fear or tried to hurt them. Instead, they were talking, trying to understand. One of the humans, a man in a white coat, approached Zlob with a smile. He said something and gestured towards a large vehicle nearby. The translation machine buzzed. "Would you like to come with us? We have much to discuss." Zlob looked at his crew. They were tired and scared, but also hopeful. He turned back to the human and nodded. As they walked towards the vehicle, Zlob's body glowed with a warm, optimistic orange. Their journey wasn't over, but a new chapter was beginning. The Zarthax had found the humans at last. In the days following the Zarthax arrival, Earth was buzzing with excitement and worry. News of the alien visitors spread quickly. People everywhere talked about the strange, color-changing beings from another world. Zlob and his crew were taken to a special facility. It was comfortable, with soft places for them to rest their jelly-like bodies. Human scientists came to study them, but they were always gentle and respectful. As the Zarthax learned more English, they began to share their story. They told the humans about their dying planet, how the galaxy had turned its back on them, and their desperate journey to Earth. Many humans were moved by the Zarthax story. They saw a peaceful race in need of help, but others were scared. They worried about what might happen if Earth welcomed these aliens. In a big white building called the White House, the leaders of Earth's countries met to decide what to do. The room was tense as they argued back and forth. "We can't turn them away," said one leader, her voice full of emotion. "They came to us for help. It's our duty to protect them." Another leader shook his head. "But what about our own people?" he asked. "We have problems of our own to solve. Can we really take care of an alien race too?" Outside, people gathered in the streets. Some held signs welcoming the Zarthax. Others protested, demanding the aliens be sent away. Back at the facility, Zlob watched all of this on a thing called a television. His body turned a worried shade of blue. "Perhaps we made a mistake in coming here," he said to his crew. "We don't want to cause trouble for the humans." But then something unexpected happened. A group of human children were allowed to visit the Zarthax. At first, the children were shy, but soon they were laughing and playing with the aliens. The Zarthax showed the children how they could change colors. The kids were amazed. They asked the aliens to make patterns like rainbows and stars. Soon, the room was filled with giggles and flashing colors. A video of this playful meeting was shared all over the world. People saw how gentle and kind the Zarthax were. Many hearts began to change. In universities, scientists got excited about what they could learn from the Zarthax. Their biology is amazing. One scientist said on TV, "Imagine what medical breakthroughs we might make by studying them." Business leaders saw opportunities too. "The Zarthax have technologies we've never seen before," a famous inventor said. "Working together, we could solve problems like pollution and energy shortages." As the debate went on, more and more people began to support the Zarthax. They held parades and concerts to welcome the aliens. Schools started teaching about Zarthax culture. Finally, after weeks of discussion, the world's leaders came to a decision. The President of the United States stood before a crowd of people and cameras. "Today," she said, her voice strong and clear, "we choose to embrace our new friends from the stars. The Zarthax came to us in their time of need, and we will not turn them away. Earth will be a sanctuary for these peaceful beings." The crowd cheered. All around the world, people celebrated. It wasn't just a victory for the Zarthax, but for humanity too. They had chosen compassion over fear. When Slob heard the news, his whole body glowed with a bright, happy yellow. Tears of joy rolled down his soft cheeks. "Thank you," he said to the human scientists around him. "We will do everything we can to be good guests on your world." But even as the Zarthax and their human friends celebrated, challenges loomed. How would the aliens adapt to life on Earth? What would other alien races think of humanity's decision? And could Earth really protect the Zarthax if the galaxy came looking for them? For now, though, there was hope. Two very different species had found friendship across the stars. It was the beginning of a new chapter for both humanity and the Zarthax. Months passed since the Zarthax arrived on Earth. The aliens were slowly settling into their new home, but life wasn't easy. Every day brought new challenges as they tried to fit into human society. Zlob and his crew were the first to leave the special facility. They moved into a small town called Greenville, where the mayor had offered them empty houses. The day they arrived, many humans lined the streets to watch. Some waved and smiled, but others looked worried. The Zarthax's jelly-like bodies made simple things difficult. Chairs and beds were too hard for them. They couldn't use human clothes or tools. Even eating was a problem. Human food made them sick. To help, kind humans worked with the Zarthax to design special furniture. They made soft, squishy chairs and beds that the aliens could rest on comfortably. Clothes were created that could change color with the Zarthax's moods. Scientists developed a diet that was safe for the aliens to eat. But physical problems weren't the only challenges. The Zarthax had to learn human ways of living. They were used to a world without money, where everyone shared everything. On Earth, they had to learn about jobs, buying things, and private property. Slob got a job at the local library. He loved being around books and learning about Earth's history. But using the computer was hard with his soft, tentacle-like arms. He often changed to a frustrated red color when he made mistakes. One day, a group of angry humans came to the library. They shouted at Slob, saying aliens shouldn't have Earth jobs. Slob's body turned a sad, dark blue. He didn't understand why these humans were so angry. The librarian, a kind old woman named Mrs. Johnson, stood up for Slob. "He's doing a wonderful job," she told the protesters. "And he's teaching us so much about his world. You should be ashamed of yourselves." The angry humans left, but Slob still felt upset. In schools, Zarthak's children faced bullying. Human kids would poke their soft bodies or make fun of their color changes. Some Zarthak's kids stopped going to school because they were so scared. To help, the school started a buddy system. Each Zarthak's child was paired with a friendly human child. Together, they would play and learn. Slowly, the bullying decreased as more human children got to know their alien classmates. Communication was another big problem. The Zarthaks were used to sharing thoughts and feelings through touch and color changes. They found human words confusing and limited. Often, misunderstandings led to awkward or funny situations. Once, a Zarthax named Blip went to a human birthday party. When everyone sang Happy Birthday, Blip thought they were angry because their faces were red from singing loudly. He turned a defensive purple and hid under the table. It took a while for the humans to explain and coax him out. Despite these challenges, there were many beautiful moments of connection. Humans were fascinated by Zarthak's art, which used changing colors and patterns to tell stories. Zarthak's healing techniques, using their ability to absorb and redirect energy, amazed human doctors. In Greenville's park, a group of elderly humans and Zarthaks would meet every morning. The aliens would gently massage the humans' sore joints with their soft bodies, easing their pain. In return, the old humans would tell stories about Earth's history, which the Zarthaks loved. As months turned into a year, things slowly got better. More humans accepted the Zarthaks as neighbors and friends. The aliens learned to navigate human culture, while humans adapted to make room for Zarthak's ways. Zlob, watching all of this from his little house in Greenville, felt hopeful. His body glowed a warm orange in the evenings as he thought about their journey. Yes, there were still problems. Yes, some humans still didn't accept them, but they had found a new home, and day by day, they were building a life here. As he looked up at the stars one night, Slob wondered what the future would bring. The galaxy had forsaken them, but humanity had taken them in. Whatever challenges came next, they would face them together, humans and Zarthaks, two species united by compassion and curiosity. 2 years had passed since the Zarthaks found refuge on Earth. Life was settling into a new normal. Humans and aliens were learning to live together, sharing their knowledge and cultures. But far above the blue planet, trouble was brewing in the stars. One quiet afternoon, as Slob was shelving books in the Greenville library, a loud alarm blared from every phone and computer. The sound made his jelly-like body quiver with fear. On screens everywhere, a serious-looking human appeared. "Attention, citizens of Earth," the man said. "We have detected multiple alien ships entering our solar system. They are not responding to our attempts at communication. We urge everyone to remain calm and stay tuned for updates." Panic spread quickly. Humans rushed to stock up on food and supplies. Some people pointed at the Zarthaks, blaming them for bringing danger to Earth. Slob and his fellow aliens huddled in their homes, their bodies a worried shade of deep blue. In space, Earth's defense fleet moved to intercept the incoming ships. As they got closer, they recognized the vessels. They belonged to the Graxan, one of the most powerful races in the galaxy, and one of the cruelest. The Graxan ships surrounded Earth, their weapons ready. A message came through to all of Earth's leaders. The alien captain's face was hard and angry. "Humans, The Graxan leader growled, "You harbor fugitives. The weaklings you call Zarthax are a galactic embarrassment. Hand them over immediately, or face destruction." Earth's leaders gathered quickly to decide what to do. Some wanted to give up the Zarthax to save humanity. Others argued that they had promised to protect the peaceful aliens. As they debated, something unexpected happened. Humans all over the world started to speak up. They shared stories of how the Zarthax had helped their communities, how the aliens had taught them new ways of healing, of making art, of understanding the universe. A movement began, spreading rapidly across social media. Millions of humans changed their profile pictures to images of the Zarthax. The message was clear. The Zarthax were now part of the human family. Earth would not abandon them. Strengthened by this show of support, Earth's leaders made their decision. They sent a message back to the Graxan fleet. "The Zarthax are under our protection," they declared. "We will not hand them over. If you want them, you'll have to go through us." The Graxan were shocked. They had expected the humans to give in easily. Now, faced with Earth's determination, they hesitated. What the Graxan didn't know was that humans had learned much from the Zarthax. Earth scientists had combined Zarthax energy manipulation techniques with human technology. The result was a new kind of shield that could protect the whole planet. As the Graxan prepared to attack, Earth activated its defense. A shimmering bubble surrounded the planet. The Graxan weapons hit the shield and fizzled out harmlessly. Frustrated, the Graxan tried to negotiate. They offered Earth advanced technology in exchange for the Zarthax. But the humans refused. They had learned that there were things more valuable than technology, like compassion and diversity. Days passed in a tense standoff. Other alien races, curious about the conflict, began to arrive. They were amazed to see a young race like humanity standing up to the Graxan. Some of these races had their own stories of Graxan cruelty. Inspired by Earth's bravery, they began to speak out. Soon, a coalition formed. Aliens and humans united against the Graxan's bullying ways. Faced with this unexpected alliance, the Graxan finally backed down. They left Earth's solar system, but not before warning that this wasn't over. As the alien ships disappeared into deep space, cheers erupted around the world. Humans and Zarthax celebrated together, their bodies glowing with joy and relief. Zlob, watching the stars from his favorite spot in Greenville Park, felt a mix of emotions. His body shimmered with grateful gold and worried green. Earth had protected them, but at what cost? The galaxy now knew about humanity, and not all aliens would be friendly. Yet as he looked around at the humans and Zarthax celebrating together, Zlob felt hopeful. Together, they had faced a galactic threat and survived. Whatever challenges the future held, they would face them united. The people of Earth and their jelly-like friends from the stars. 5 years had passed since the Graxan threat. Earth and the Zarthax had grown closer than ever, working together to build a bright future. The once forsaken aliens and the young human race were now making waves across the galaxy. In the town of Greenville, now famous as the first Zarthax settlement on Earth, Zlob stood before a crowd of humans and aliens. His jelly-like body glowed with pride as he cut the ribbon to open the new Galactic Cultural Center. Today, Zlob said, his voice translated by a small device, "We celebrate not just a building, but a symbol of unity. Here, all species can learn from each other and grow together." The center was a marvel of human and Zarthax engineering. Its walls could change color like Zarthax skin, displaying art from across the galaxy. Soft, adaptable spaces could comfortably fit beings of any shape or size. Inside, holographic displays showed the incredible progress of the Human-Zarthax alliance. There were images of the first human-piloted ship using Zarthax color-based navigation. Another display showed Zarthax healing techniques being used in human hospitals, saving countless lives. But the alliance had done more than just improve life on Earth. Humans and Zarthax had ventured out into the galaxy together, changing it for the better. A large screen showed the moment when Earth officially joined the Galactic Council. The human representative stood proudly next to a color-shifting Zarthax. Many alien races that had once looked down on both species now watched with respect and curiosity. Another image captured a team of human scientists and Zarthax explorers discovering a cure for a deadly space plague. Their combined knowledge had saved millions across the galaxy. There were challenges too. Some races, like the Graxan, still saw the human-Zarthax alliance as a threat, but more and more aliens were coming to see the benefits of cooperation and diversity. As Lob guided visitors through the center, he overheard a young human girl talking to a Zarthax child. The human was teaching her alien friend a hand game, while the Zarthax showed how to change skin colors in a fun pattern. Zlob's body glowed warm orange with happiness at the sight. Later that evening, a special ceremony was held in the center's planetarium. The domed ceiling showed a real-time view of Earth's first deep space colony. Humans and Zarthax had built it together on a distant, peaceful planet. As the colony came into view, a cheer went up from the crowd. It was a beautiful sight, gleaming buildings that could have been from Earth or Zarthos, surrounded by alien plants and strange rock formations. The colony's leader, a human woman named Sarah Chen, appeared on the screen. Next to her was Blip, the Zarthax who had once hidden under a table at a birthday party. Now he was the colony's head scientist. "Greetings from New Harmony," Sarah said, smiling. "Our colony is thriving, thanks to the incredible partnership between humans and Zarthax. We're not just surviving out here, we're discovering new wonders every day." Blip's body rippled with excited colors as he spoke. "Together, we're showing the galaxy what can be achieved when different species work as one. We may have come from different worlds, but we share the same dreams." As the transmission ended, Zlob felt a gentle touch on his arm. It was Mrs. Johnson, the librarian who had first welcomed him to Greenville. Now in her 90s, she still volunteered at the library. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" she asked, her eyes twinkling. Zlob's body shimmered with thoughtful blue. "Never," he admitted. "When we first came to Earth, we only hoped for safety. But you humans gave us so much more. You gave us a home, a purpose, and a future." Mrs. Johnson smiled. "And you Zarthax taught us to see the universe in new ways, to value peace and understanding above all else." As they looked up at the stars shining through the planetarium's dome, Zlob felt a sense of wonder. The galaxy that had once rejected the Zarthax was now changing, becoming more open and diverse. And it was all because a group of brave humans had chosen compassion over fear. "We were forsaken by the galaxy," Zlob said softly, "but embraced by humanity. Now together, we're building a better universe for all." Around them, humans and Zarthax mingled, their laughter and color shifts filling the room with joy. It was the dawn of a new era, not just for Earth or the Zarthax, but for all beings who dreamed of a more united and understanding galaxy.